Sean, how you feel?
Extreme pain.
Sean is so big right now, he cannot make it to the waiting room door. He's worse off now, and he looked like he maybe put another 50 to 100 pounds on.
Hey everybody, it's Tony with Big T Bariatric, and I'm back at you with another video. I hope you've all had a very Merry Christmas, and as we move forward to the new year, Happy New Year to you. Please do me a huge favor by looking down below and seeing if you're subscribed to my video. If you're not, hit that button for me. Help support this channel and get our message out there by sharing this video, liking this video, leaving a comment, and subscribing if you've not done so. I greatly appreciate it. You can even join and be a member of Big T Bariatric. I would greatly appreciate it if you considered that, especially as we go into the new year. Today we're going to cover some of the largest patients in my 600-pound life history. Who are they? How big did they get? How did they even get that big in the first place? We're going to cover some of these topics and more in the following video. So let's jump right into it right away.
Right now, we're expecting the arrival of Sean Milliken. He supposedly can still walk some. So we'll see how mobile he is and get him out and inside as quickly as possible.
A lot of times, Dr. Now has his patients wait in the office and do a weigh-in before he meets them. In Sean's case, however, he feels the need to meet him before he even gets out of the car.
It seems like out of anybody who's ever been on the show, Dr. Now is the one guy who's a get-at-it kind of guy. He's like, we need to get started right away. I mean, as a big person, we always know that time is very limited. We can feel our mortality slipping away from us. We see that the bigger we get, the lower our life expectancy is going to be. But the problem is our drive to eat seems to override our desire to live. And we feel like we can't live without that food because we're so addicted to that food. We don't want to live in a world where we're not getting pleasured by that food. Giggity, giggity, goo. But Dr. Now is the one person who's like, let's get in, let's get started, let's figure this out together, let's get going. But sadly, this person here doesn't seem very interested, even though he's on the brink of death himself.
Right now, Sean doesn't look like he's very concerned about his health. He's clearly at least 800 pounds from looks of it.
And that's a rough position to be in, because if you were over 800 pounds, you would want to get in there, you would want to pay attention, you would want to talk to Dr. Now, and you would want to say, listen, I really need your help, let's figure this out together. But he's sitting there playing a video game. He's letting everybody else take care of him, get him dressed, get him out of there. Even though he can walk, he's trying to stand up. Like, he does not seem motivated to lose the weight.
And he has swelling of the entire left leg and deformity of left foot.
Okay, that could be why. It goes without saying that Dr. Now's patients are morbidly obese, but 800 pounds? Yeah, that might require some extra attention.
All right, the scale said over the limit, so this scale goes only to 800 pounds. I need to know your true weight, so we're gonna get you to bed scale.
Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but I don't think we've seen that before on the show.
Listen, I've been in that position many times before, but my doctor's scale goes to 450. So the fact that I'm still over that right now, and every time I go to the doctor's office, she tells me, hey, get up on the scale. I'm like, I know, all right, I know I'm over the limit. Let me tell you what I think I weigh, or let me tell you what I weigh because my scale at home says this is what I weigh. That's a very embarrassing situation to be in. But when you have a bariatric scale in your office and you're over that, and it goes up to 800 pounds, and you get an error notice on that thing, that should be an embarrassing moment for you. Not to mention the tremendous amount of pain that he's in just being wheeled up to Dr. Now's office, or just being wheeled up to the hospital room. Like, he's in a tremendous amount of pain. His foot is disfigured and swollen after traveling. Like, that should be motivation enough. But again, he's just acting like he doesn't care at all.
Looks like you're 919 pounds.
919. How is his body still functioning?
I mean, that's a very good question. How is he even functioning? I was close to 700 pounds and I was barely functioning myself. I could stand up, but I could barely walk a few feet. And this guy was able to stand up 200 pounds heavier than I was at my heaviest. That's a ridiculous amount of weight on your body. I just can't even imagine the discomfort he must have been in.
I'm going to give you a diet plan, and I want you to lose at least 100 pounds over the next couple of months. If you do that, I'll approve you for weight loss surgery.
100 pounds sounds like a lot, but when you got 900 to lose, it shouldn't be that hard for Sean to shed that weight.
Today I was craving a burger. And I think you have to be able to enjoy food just a little. The doctor wants me on 800 calories, and I have no idea what that would be in actual food. I think that 800 is a bit extreme.
All right, I stand corrected. If you follow the doc's diet, it shouldn't be too hard, but if you eat whatever you want and call burgers and fries a balanced meal, it's not gonna go too well.
I understand exactly how he feels. This is not an easy thing to do. I think if any of us were put on 800 calories a day, we would be starving. We would be binge eating by the end of the night. All right, this is a very difficult thing to do. And it's very easy to convince yourself, hey, I can have a burger every once in a while. I'm doing okay on my diet. But this is the mentality that you can't have when you're doing this. You got to get out of the I need food for pleasure type of mindset. If you don't get out of that, you're going to fail completely, because what turns into one cheat meal is going to turn into 2 cheat meals, and then that's going to turn into a week of cheat meals, and before you know it, you're back gaining weight again.
I'm about to see the doctor and find out if he's going to give me weight loss surgery.
Yeah, call me crazy, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
It's so hard to move around right now. Lead through that door.
Yeah, it's too tight.
That's definitely not a great start. He can't even fit through the door.
He's worse off now, and he looked like he maybe put another 50 to 100 pounds on. At this point, he may be approaching 1,000 pounds.
That just proves right there how a single cheat meal can derail your entire diet. What started out as, oh, I just need to enjoy food every once in a while, turned out to be him gaining another 50 to 100 pounds the next time he goes to see Dr. Now. He should have lost 100, but instead he gained 100 in a short amount of time.
How can you gain weight when you start off at 919 pounds? Do you have any idea how much food you need to eat to do that?
I'm going to admit him to the hospital and start him on 800 calorie diet per day for next couple of months. If we don't, his body is going to give out any day now.
Okay, he's going to the hospital. How big do you think he is?
When Sean arrived here, we were able to weigh him, and he was 1,003 pounds.
Well, yeah, Dr. Now called it. He was just over 1,000 pounds, and sadly, Sean didn't make it. He died at the age of 29 due to an infection. And I'm sure I'm going to get somebody on the comments saying, Tony, lots of people die from infections. But here's the thing. When you're that big, your body is already stressed out to the max, and it can't take things like infections. I'm sure we're going to get somebody in the comments saying, Tony, a lot of people die from infections. His size had nothing to do with it. But when you're that big, when you're that freaking huge, your body is stressed out to the max, and it's much easier to die from a simple thing like a cold, which most people survive colds. But when you're that big, you're more likely to die from it. You're more likely to die from COVID. You're more likely to die from any number of things because your body is having a difficult time surviving, much less fighting off an infection. Let's move on to the next one.
We're expecting Mila's arrival right now. It's very dangerous for a patient her size to travel down without any medical supervision. So we want to get her in immediately and see if she's okay.
That should be something that all the fat activists look at and say, wow, maybe I was wrong about my delusions when it comes to weight. I mean, this person can't even travel without medical supervision. That's how overweight she is. That's how stressed out and maxed out her body is. She can't even travel without medical supervision. And the fact that she did it anyways, Dr. Now is worried for her. We've seen more and more patients who come in on this show who shouldn't have been traveling when they did. They didn't have medical supervision, and they were in a very stressed out state. Their body was really struggling from the travel. Really, the only thing you could do at that size is lay in bed, and any kind of movement, any kind of stress, any kind of anything is enough to push you over the edge. That is really sad. That should be enough of a wake-up call for anybody to watch that. But of course, they're going to continue with their lies and their delusions.
Another day, another patient that can't afford to hang around in the waiting room.
Let's check your weight real quick. You're just about 750 pounds.
Well, she's not quite Sean, but she's not far off when you adjust for BMI. What's really nuts though is that the number doesn't seem to affect Mila all that much. She can't be okay with that, can she?
There's usually a mixed reaction when people find out how much they weigh for the first time in probably years. I mean, most scales do not go that big, and so when they go in to see Dr. Now and they get on the bed or they get on the scale and they see for the very first time that they're over 600, 700 pounds, it can be a shock. And sometimes it's not a shock because you realize, yeah, I can't even get out of bed. I almost died on the way down here just traveling in a vehicle.
This past month, we have been able to get Mila's weight going in the right direction with a controlled diet. She's lost around 50 pounds. Okay, you're down to 700. That's good progress since you first started.
All right, overall good work. Of course, it's easier to lose that weight when you're under constant hospital supervision on a fixed diet, but progress is still progress.
Wow, this is something that the fat activists don't consider either, that if they were to go and become medically supervised at a hospital and have somebody else watch over them and see how much food that they eat, they would all lose weight. It's magic, isn't it, right? Like they say, oh, I have this disease, I have this problem, and I can't lose weight. But if you are medically supervised and you're only eating so many calories per day, you will lose weight. There are no excuses at that point. And the only people who don't lose weight at the hospital under Dr. Now's supervision are people who are sneaking in food. So it's not really any other thing that's preventing them from losing weight, because once they're being medically supervised, they all magically lose weight. It all starts falling off them. They can lose 50 pounds a month. Some of them lost even 100 pounds a month. And that's all it takes, is to cut down the calories. Calories in, calories out. That's what it takes. But you're up against your own willpower and your own mind, and you don't even realize it. So you spout all these lies and say it's all this other stuff and I can't lose weight and whatever the excuse is, whatever the lies are. If you eat less and move more, you will lose weight. And the only thing stopping you from doing that are your own lies and BS excuses.
Now we're going to send you home to keep making progress on your own. I want you to lose another 50 pounds over the next couple of months.
50 pounds down and 50 to go. Let's see if she can keep those good habits going when she's at home.
I've been home for 2 months trying to make the progress the doctor wanted so I can get my lymphedema removed. And I have no idea how much progress I've made. I feel like I've made a lot, but without a scale to know, I'm just not sure.
Here comes the big moment. Has she been able to follow Dr. Now's instructions?
Well, let's see how much you weigh now. 644, so you lost about 60 pounds. Okay, that's good.
Well, hey, congratulations. Staying true to your diet at home is definitely the hard part, and she pulled it off like a champ.
Hey, Anna, are you watching this? Because even with a lymphedema, this lady's able to lose 100 pounds. She lost half of it at the hospital under a medically supervised diet, and then she's able to go home and maintain that diet, and she loses even more, down 100 pounds. Congratulations to her.
I'm not sure exactly what the scale's going to say when I step on it today. It's a number that always is going to scare me, being this big.
Randy knows he's let his weight get out of control, and like so many of us, he's not looking forward to seeing that number.
It's just hard to be here and find out what I'm about to find out.
Yeah, I kind of mentioned it before. It's much easier to live in blissful ignorance than to actually get up and go to Dr. Now's office and figure out how much you weigh. That's a first step right there. And anybody who takes that first step should be commended. Now, we can make fun of them because they struggle and they have months where they miss out and maybe they didn't reach the goal weight that they wanted to reach. But that's okay. At least they're fighting. At least they're trying to make progress, and they're getting up and they're going and getting weighed, and they're facing the consequences of their actions. Like, that is a huge step for a lot of these people. A lot of people with addictions don't even want to know. They don't even want to try. They just want to live with their addiction, live in peace, enjoy their bliss. So if you know anybody in their life who's trying, who's fighting back, don't make fun of them. Don't get mad at them. Keep pushing them forward. Keep helping them out. But if you keep congratulating them, patting them on the back, just don't celebrate with food now. Don't celebrate with food. But if you find other ways to celebrate with them, to enjoy that moment with them, they're more likely to be successful than they are if you start hounding them because they keep messing up. Because when they mess up, they feel bad, they feel guilty. What do? They run towards food, and that's the worst thing that they can do.
Whatever the doctor tells me, I have to make it work. Because this is my last chance to get my life back.
Oh no, Randy didn't know his weight going in, but he must have had a number he expected.
How much does he have to lose before he can have the surgery?
I want him to lose 40 pounds in 1 month. Then we'll see if you're healthy enough for weight loss surgery.
40 pounds in 1 month, that's definitely a hefty goal, but not impossible if you cut out all the junk. Of course, it's a lot easier said than done.
The doc told me I had to lose 40 pounds and hit 615 for him to approve me for surgery. And I feel like I've worked as hard as I can to do that.
Randy's back 1 month later, and I'll be honest here, it does look like he's lost a bit, but has he lost enough?
Thank God. I'm super excited right now. I pushed myself hard to see that number today, and I'm very proud of myself.
And it may be by the skin of his teeth, but he did make it. And you know what, Randy? You deserve to be proud of yourself. Losing over a pound a day is not easy.
And you absolutely should be proud of yourself. The moment he stood up to go back that second time and get weighed, like, I could absolutely tell he had lost 40 pounds. Like, you could see it.
I do see this as my last chance because without this doctor taking my case, I know my life expectancy is not very long. I just hope I didn't wait too long.
Ashley D makes it down to Houston knowing that time is not necessarily on her side.
Ooh, over 700 pounds. But it's very interesting how a lot of them say the same thing. This is my last chance. They know their mortality is on the line. If they don't take advantage of this help, then it might be the end for them. And that's really sad and very difficult place to be, because you're up against one of the hardest things you're ever going to face, which is your addiction. And this isn't like any other addiction. It's much easier, in my opinion, to overcome a drug addiction than it is a food addiction, because of the fact that food is one of those things that you can't take out of your life. You need food to live. They pump the smell out of food into the air anytime you drive by a fast food restaurant. It's on the billboards, it's on the commercials, it's everywhere. You cannot get rid of food from your life. And so this is a very difficult place to be, where you need to cut down on your food while also overcoming the bombardment of advertisements and smells and everything else. Your whole family is not going to go on a diet with you either, so they're going to continue their lifestyle. They're going to eat out. They're going to bring food in. They're going to cook their big meals, and you're going to have to say no to that. So this is why I believe it's more difficult to overcome a food addiction than any other type of addiction.
725.
My God, this is heart-wrenching. Every single patient has had a different reaction to seeing a larger number than they expected, but I can't think of too many that have worn their heart on their sleeve quite like Ashley did. That's truly devastating. She already knew time was of the essence, but now she has to know every second counts.
She needs to realize that she has no choice. She either does this, or this may be the last time I see her.
That's a really good point from Dr. Now, because a lot of these people are up against their own mortality. And I know I've talked about it a little bit in this video, but there's not a whole lot of other things in your life that if you don't overcome this obstacle, you're going to die. You don't have a lot of time to play around with it. If you don't change, you're going to die. That's it. That's the end of the road for you. And that's a very scary thing to face. So there's not a lot of things that most people have to face in their life, or the obstacles they have to overcome. Not a lot of people have to face dying if they don't overcome it, and which is a very, very scary thing. Anyways, guys, this is my video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. I greatly appreciate you watching. I hope you have a great day. I love you. God bless you.